What's up guys, it's 6-Man Sports, and as you know, the Mets have made a multitude of signings over the past couple of days. They've signed Mark Canha, Starling Marte, and Eduardo Escobar for the offense, and then the big signing was Max Scherzer, who instantly forms a 1-2 punch alongside Jacob deGrom. And you could question if the Mets overpaid on some of these players, especially Scherzer and Marte, who are aging, but they signed them regardless. I'm not going to talk about these deals in depth, but more about how the Mets will be next year, and more specifically their lineup, and if they're going to trade anybody. One thing to keep in mind is that Baez and Stroman are still both free agents, but I personally don't think they will come back to New York as they'll get better offers elsewhere. And yeah, let's go through the lineup. As you can see here on this graphic, the catcher is James McCann, didn't have the best season last year. First baseman Pete Alonso, he's still very good. Pitcher is their number one starter is Jacob deGrom, but like Max Scherzer is there as well. And I'll go into the rotation a bit more. So yeah. Second base, Jeff McNeil. He's a super utility guy, and I actually think they might trade him. Robinson Cano, who's coming off the bench, I think as of now, he got injured a couple days ago, like a week ago back in the Dominican League. And Robinson Cano has just come back from his PED suspension, and he might split time with Jeff McNeil. And because Jeff McNeil is a super utility player, the Mets might trade Jeff McNeil, but I think for now he's going to start at second base. At shortstop, you have the defensive wizard Francisco Lindor. And while a lot of people think he had a disappointing season on the offensive side of the ball, he still actually did pretty good compared to what people thought. And at third base, they just signed him, Eduardo Escobar from the Diamondbacks / Brewers. He got traded to the Brewers at the deadline. I think he can definitely do better than what JD Davis has been doing for them, and he's a great signing. He'll provide a lot of stuff with the pop in the bat. Now let's talk about the outfield. In left field, you have either Brennan Nimbo or Mark Canha. In this graphic, I put Canha there, but it really doesn't matter. Those two can swap. At center field, you have Starling Marte. He is a great guy who can get on base. He can steal bases, which is very valuable for a team. He led both the AL and NL in stolen bases last year. And like I said again, Nimmo or Canha will fill up the right field spot. I think since they signed their whole new outfield, I like this outfield for the Mets. And now let's talk about the bench. On the bench, you have Dom Smith, who had a great 2020, and he struggled in 2021. Robinson Cano, like I mentioned, coming off the PED suspension. JD Davis, going to be replaced by Luis Guillorme, and JD Davis going to be replaced by Eduardo Escobar, and Luis Guillorme also on the bench. He can play second base, third base, some infield here and there. I like Luis Guillorme. He's a good guy to have off the bench. And now let's take a look at the rotation. Obviously, like I said, you have that 1-2 punch of deGrom and Scherzer. But after, you have Taijuan Walker, who had a good start to the year, especially the first half of the year. He was named an All-Star, I'm pretty sure, but definitely cooled off in the second half. And then you have Carlos Carrasco, who hasn't been the best for the Mets, and David Peterson, who's showed some flashes of brilliance here and there. Now that we've gone through the whole entire Mets squad, let me tell you what I think they can do next year. Obviously, in the NL East, you have the Atlanta Braves, who just won the World Series, and we don't know if they're going to re-sign Freddie Freeman or not. But as the time I'm making this video, they haven't re-signed Freddie Freeman. Acuna is coming back, Marcell Ozuna is coming back. Both of those guys are going to have full seasons, but they could lose Eddie Rosario and Jock Peterson. As for the Braves, they also signed Kirby Yates today, so they're improving an already solid bullpen. I think it's going to be a tough race between the Mets and the Braves for that first spot in the NL East, because look at the additions the Mets have made. They've spent the second most money or amount of dollars in free agency for Scherzer, who is very good despite his age. He's 37, but he's provided great seasons over the last 5 years, and age does not seem to affect Max Scherzer. So I do think they did overpay, but they got Max Scherzer, which is good. And then the thing with the Braves is, compared to this Mets team, is the Mets built a great offensive outfield now. And now they even have the ability to trade players like Dom Smith, JD Davis, Chef Mcneil for pitching, because they have a very solid lineup. Another guy I forgot to mention off the bench is Jonathan Villar. But yeah, they have a very solid lineup. If they can trade for some more pitching to fix that Carrasco and Peterson spot, even if, like, I'm fine with Peterson as a 5-starter or 4-starter, but I don't think he can be any better than that for them. If they go out and trade for like a Luis Castillo or another guy in the Reds, or like Pablo Lopez from the Marlins, there are a lot of good arms out there on the trade block that they could definitely trade for. So, and they have the pieces, they have the batters, and they have some decent prospects they can throw in there too. But one thing people will always say about the Mets is that they go out, spend all this money, yet they don't produce. And you could say that for last year. They started off with a really good season. They were leading the NL East for majority of the year. The Braves took it over mid-August, and it was over for the Mets. They finished with a below 500 record. And while the CBA is going to affect if there's like an expanded playoffs, if there's a DH, that could definitely affect this team, because they have the hitters in Dom Smith to put a DH. So the CBA is definitely going to affect this team, but I think they are going to be in contention for a wildcard spot in a strong NL. Like, you have teams like the Padres need to make more moves, but the Padres are still the Padres, which they're pretty good. They got the Dodgers, the Giants who are going to be there, the Brewers and the Cardinals who are making pushes and signing players. So yeah, the Braves will still be back. They'll still be good. So this is a tough NL to get a wildcard spot. So I think if they don't win the division, the Mets, I don't know if they'll get the second wildcard, but they might be a bit out of the running, because this is a tough NL. So I think that what the Mets have to do now is continue to make moves and continue to sign players, trade for players if they need to, trade for more starting pitching. But don't sleep on this Mets team. I'm telling you, they have a great offense, and I think if they trade for some more pitching, they are definitely have a really good chance of winning that NL East. Don't sleep on the Mets. I think they're going to do good things, even though the Mets are the Mets. I think they'll be really good. So I really like the Max Scherzer signing. That's it for this video, guys. Go follow our social medias. I've been really active on Instagram, and that's where I'm providing most of my free agency updates and posts and all that stuff like that. So go follow that. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll be back with another video on the Texas Rangers, similar to this one, but it's on the Texas Rangers. And yeah.